Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Gluttons for Geekdom.
How's it going?
It's going very well, sir. How are you?
I'm alright.
My name is Nick Philippek.
And I'm the Deuce.
And we are going to be bringing you the show together, hopefully on a weekly basis. And before we really dive into what we're doing, we just thought we'd give you a little bit of an insight of why we're doing and what we're doing really here. We met each other about 4 years ago, and it was at a job, and we figured out that we like talking about all the same kind of stuff, and
Yeah, it kind of branched out from there, talking about all the same kind of stuff. Bring up the same points, bring up different points, having pretty good arguments about things.
it made work really good.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
made 8 hours kind of fly by if it had to.
My favorites were the would you rathers. Would you rather have this, or would you rather have
Thor's hammer or Green Lantern's ring, I think, is still a good one that I could fight about for quite some time.
Or would you rather be able to use telekinesis, but only when you vomit? Or would you have super strength, but only when you have explosive diarrhea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a long pause, but that was a hard think.
Yeah.
That sucks, both of those. We'll come back to that. So now it just kind of seemed very natural to flow this together into a podcast because we found other friends that like to also listen and get in on the arguments, and feel people out there in podcast land will also enjoy it. So this podcast is really going to be about, we figured out 4 big pillars that we're going to go off of, that we found ourselves talking about quite regularly and really be able to get into a good debate or groove about. And we figured out we're going to do Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Star Wars, and of course just all things comics and comic book related.
Now we can branch out from there, but those are our comfort zones. Those are what we know. Those are what we talk about.
Like that. Comfort zones. Yes. So in doing that and trying to get out there more, trying to bring this out there more to other people, we would also like if you have any requests or any comments that you can always get in touch with us through the Facebook. We're on Twitter, and we also have an email if you want to do that to join in the conversation. Yeah, on Facebook, I think we are just Gluttons for Geekdom, facebook.com/Gluttons for Geekdom. On Twitter, we are at Gluttonous Geeks, and the Gmail is Gluttons of Geekdom at gmail.com, because something happened with 4, couldn't do it.
It's probably, I think there was a story behind it, but I don't think it's really good.
No, not as good when we have Batman to talk about.
Oh, Batman.
So with that, we're going to get into the first episode, Batman vs. Superman. Just
good.
Yes. Oh, spoilers.
Yeah, we're not going to hold ourselves
We
back.
are going to do this once, kind folks. We are going to spoil all the movies that come out because we will see them, review them, and talk about them at length, whether you want to hear it or not. So spoilers.
If there's a big enough fan
you've
outcry
been forewarned, yeah.
Yes, if there's a big enough fan outcry, maybe we'll do this once an episode. Like, hey, there's going to be a spoiler.
Fucking no.
Hey. All right, fuck.
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna put it on there. Like, come on, guys.
Suck all of our collective dicks.
I mean, we're busy as shit. We both have jobs, and if we
can't
can
say
go
the
and see a movie on the weekend, everybody can see a movie on the weekend.
We can't spare our time to say the word spoiler before an episode.
All right.
So, Batman v Superman.
Right into it, sir. Loved it. I'm going on the record of the side of I loved this movie. Saw it twice, loved it.
I have seen it twice too. Now, I will say this. I'm the type of person that enjoys pretty much anything. Like, if I can sit there, I can get behind it, especially like if it's a movie or a video game. Put me there long enough and I'll get behind it. Like in a movie, I'll just get invested in characters and I was like, this is pretty good stuff. TV shows, same way. It wasn't until after the series ended that I was like, Friends wasn't really all that good. So, that's kind of how I am. So, as far as the movie goes, I enjoyed it. But I do have points about it that will sort of explain where I'm coming from.
I myself have 3. I had 3 points going into it, or coming out the first time and the second time, so I didn't actually even add anything, or I wasn't even able to take it away after time of digesting it. We'll get into that as we go.
All right.
So opening credits.
From the opening credits, there's the they start out with Batman's origin story again. Another origin story from the Batman. So
just why we know it.
It's so well known as a origin story, like it doesn't need to be retold.
It doesn't.
It's not a Batman movie.
No, that's a good point. It's not a Batman movie. You reintroduced him in a different actor, but Batman is still generally origined always the same way, as long as it's Bruce Wayne.
A funny thing about it is that Superman's in a movie and you don't see his origin story. Now, they're using the same actor from the first Superman movie and they're bringing in a new actor for Batman. Now, I don't think that warrants a new origin story
for Batman.
Now, the thing is, it's not a Batman movie, and you see later on down the line in the movie, there's really no, that's if they're going to do, like, past stuff, like things that happened to him in his past, his origin story isn't really the thing that really needed to be addressed.
How would you have felt, though, I just had this idea, actually, if they did almost, do you remember how Spider-Man 2 opened with all the Spider-Man 1 kind of paintings and stuff like that? How would you have felt with a recap, kind of Jor-El sending them off and, like, it had the original words from the comic strip of Jettison from a dying planet grown on Earth. The man to become Superman, and how else would you have wanted it to open?
I mean, the thing is, you could probably do the just strips from a comic book, just like flash here and flash there. No words on the strips, comic book strips. Just pictures, like pivotal pictures during their origin lines. Yes, yeah. So boom, you throw a picture up there. It's showing Batman's origin story, and regardless of whether or not you're a fan, you will understand the setup of everything. Especially if you just throw Batman's symbol in there every now and then, like oh, that was Batman. Oh wow.
Ooh, especially because he's already an established Batman. If it was like an evolution of the Bat actual symbol.
Yeah, that could work, but I mean, like
it's a flat one, and then the one in the circle with the yellow behind it, and then kind of maybe a pointier one getting him to the fat Frank Miller looking one.
I would say do it on Batman himself as he's growing throughout the years as Batman. So he starts out in his first Batman costume with a nice sleek Batman design and stuff, and then you go to another point in his life where he's got Robin in tow. Now he's got the black on yellow circular thingy on his chest. Then you go a little further down the line and he's got what's another one of those? Another good one that he has. That's
another symbol, you mean?
Another symbol, yeah.
Pretty much if it doesn't go through just the original black on matte, it'll do the circle, but that's kind of it. I mean, the shape of the bat is really what changes. Now,
yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Oh, the shape of it? Oh,
yeah.
It's gone so many ways.
Because there's the one you have on your wall there, where the wings sort of go further into the head, while
that's a Jim Lee one. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
The Jim Lee one, or then you could do the Jim Lee one, and then you can end with the Dark Knight Returns one, where it's all big and fat and just large.
And then the animated series one.
Yeah, just pretty much how big the bat symbol is on his chest.
Because they did that in the animated series, right? The first season, and then when they got further in, they went to it.
Yeah, they changed his costume up a lot. So
that would have, but pretty much saying that they had so much of an opportunity to throw in a scene to open up. If we have to quote unquote introduce Batman into this universe, they could have done. I mean, the death of Robin is something that they hinted at, something that they put in the trailer, and something that he looked at it, he walked away. That was it.
As a matter of fact, if you want to touch upon that, if you're going to do an opening for this movie, and you're talking about the comic book one, have that be a closer. Because then you could just have that. You go, boom, Batman through his life, Superman through his life, and then you could throw in some clips with Wonder Woman in there. Because at the end of the movie, oh yeah, she did help start the Justice League too. They're the main three. But if you want to do an opening, yeah, sure. If you want to throw Batman in there, did he stop being Batman for a while, and then this is what brought him back into Batman, or
That's another thing. It wasn't clear. I think that it was stated that that's how they were going to do it. That they wanted to have that this is a Batman that was established, that was the Batman at one point, but kind of like Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns had taken time off. So in my opinion, it didn't seem like he had. I think if they wanted to do that, and hopefully there's maybe a deleted scene of him just being in the Batcave and dusting something off, is all that I need to see. But like,
the second time around I watched the movie, I did notice, like, okay, well, I knew he was Batman. I knew he did the Batman thing. I don't think it was as if they were trying to be subtle, but it was subtle as shit how they made it seem as if he wasn't the Batman for a while. Like, he would just look at this suit like, oh man, we might need him tonight. That sort of thing. And it happened, like, I think once. It's like, probably should be wearing that. And he just doesn't wear it. And it's like, it's not that he needs to be Bruce Wayne, it's that I might have to be Batman again.
yeah.
Instead of just, oh man, I probably should just put on the suit tonight. That type of BS. They didn't explain that he was Batman. Or if he wasn't Batman. If he stopped being Batman, if he retired.
No.
No.
We saw him in costume. We don't know if that was just another Thursday or the first Thursday in X-Men of weeks, months, years. And that could have just, again, been a better opening. We know how the Waynes died.
Yes, we know how they died.
We know that they went to a funeral. We know that he fell into a hole. We know that there was a cavern of bats. But we did not know that the bats would rise and create a tornado of bats to lift young Bruce Wayne up and almost crash the dreams of almost millions of fanboys. If that scene was like, and when the bats lifted me out of the cave with flying magic, I knew I'd be Batman, was the next line, rather than the line explaining how it was a dream, people would have wept. They would have gotten up and left. I knew I could control bats, and I had to be the Batman.
Could you imagine if you were just throwing around live bats and some of these batarangs? Just like There's like, oh, there's a bat on me. They have rabies.
Oh my god.
Oh dear sweet Lord. Wow,
But thankfully that was a dream, because I don't know
10
what
times
I would've
less badass if that was his deal.
Yeah, no, throwing Ninja Star bats are much cooler.
But I'm like thinking like there might be one person out there that's like, no, but he should totally control bats. like if you threw bats at somebody, how badass would that really fucking be?
So that happens. Dream. Good. Thank you, just a dream. And now we go into 18 months. No, now we go into the world meets the Superman.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And Bruce Wayne gets out of a helicopter and he gets a Jeep and he drives into Metropolis and we see the world engine going off.
Yeah, pretty much the end of Man of Steel.
And I still contest the fact that if you took all of the trailers, cut them into the actual sequence, you would have that whole Metropolis sequence. I mean, almost 80, 85, 95% of it through all those trailers. It was a lot. So it was kind of like a checklist of, okay, all right, yep. You didn't see the guy up in the building praying. You didn't see Skip, who's the guy who got his legs broken. Legs? That's his name? Hey, Legs?
Legs.
Okay, so after Legs lost his legs.
Legs
McGinnis lost that, and then him actually running to save the girl, which was badass, so I was happy they saved that.
Legs, he was running to save
yes, Bruce Wayne was rubbing the fact that he had legs and saving a man
Don't
with
worry,
broken legs.
I'll save with my legs. Not only am I the Batman, but I have legs.
But not a lot of that was saved for the movie. A lot of that was in the trailer. Which is, I mean, I am such an asshole in the fact that before this movie came out, I was like, give me more. Give me all of the trailers. And then it came out and I was like, Oh, wow, you gave me a lot of trailers. Wish you didn't give me so many trailers. So I see the fact of what kind of sword they got to walk on, but there was a lot of that. There was so much of this movie in those trailers. Well, not so much of the movie, just like scenes that throughout it, every single one, you could check it off.
Yeah, it's all about the context. Now,
True.
Looking at the movie, watching the movie, and seeing all those scenes in context, I was like, wow, this is really cool. You're actually seeing it from everybody else's point of view. Whereas, like, okay, Superman and Zod were fighting, and you see them destroying all this property, all this property damage, all these buildings that are being destroyed and whatnot. And at no point, which we'll bring up later on, do they say, "Oh, there's nobody down there." So, okay, you're led to believe that, okay, they're fighting in this well-populated area and they're doing all this damage. And one thing, like, I love that fight scene to death. I thought it was pretty fucking cool, but you never see them fucking just, like, ruin lives. Like when they're down there,
no bodies flying around, not a single drop of blood in that movie.
It's just him and Zod just fighting. When the fight first fucking starts, and they're in the rubble after Superman is like, "All right, Zod, I fucking destroyed your plan. Now it's just you and me." And Zod's like, "It is just you and me. Let's fucking scrap."
That's the.
And then
Where did you train? On a farm.
farm. Yeah, and they just like, oh, they're fucking just like going at each other, and Metropolis looks like a fucking barren wasteland. Nobody is there, except for that small team of like nobodies from the somebody, small team of somebodies from the Daily Planet.
Yeah, those 5 people. Hold my hand.
Hold my hand.
That was actually really nice. It really is.
Well,
And they're all dusty, but they've got the tear prints crawling down, and I mean,
Thank you for holding my hand.
yeah, it's just got such an obvious kind of
Yeah, I mean,
feel that, yeah, it's a scene that kind of is just like, and you're happy when the engine shuts down, and you're just like, oh my god, they were so close to getting picked up and then shoved down to the earth really fast.
like, oh my god, like Shia LaBeouf and Constantine.
Oh my god. Nice, Paul. Oh man, yeah. You hear that? Oh man, what was his name?
I don't remember his name.
Chet?
Chaz.
Chaz. You hear that, asshole? My name is Chaz. Chaz, boom, 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 boom. It's just, oh my god.
It's not like in the books. No, it's not like in the books.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
That's another one. The show didn't do too well, but the movie was...
I didn't watch the show, so I didn't even know there was a show.
I don't think a lot of people watched the show. Okay. I know that they had a Dr. Fate helmet in it, but I don't know anything more past that. So, for that reason alone, I'm like, okay.
Right. So, regardless, so...
Yeah, that was kind of...
Barren,
we're back.
Yeah, barren wasteland in Metropolis, and it stays like that for the entire fight. The entire fight, they're just bumping all over the place, destroying buildings. There's in the one building where Zod learns how to use his heat vision. You see
and that's the Wayne building.
Yes, you see that happening. Cool. And he's like, well, he's looking all over the place and there's nobody in the building.
Why were they not evacuated?
I have no idea, but turns out there was people in the building. It's just that they weren't in a building during, Man of Steel. They were in a building during Batman, Superman, but not Man of Steel. Man of Steel, he wasn't. Nobody was dying.
Correct.
So they after that all happened, they go out into space. They come back down there, and the only time where you see there might be collateral damage is at the end where Superman has to snap Zod's neck just to keep him from killing some people. And it's like, okay, well now in this movie, it's like, okay, well why didn't you do that before? Like there's.
You could have snapped his neck at the very beginning.
Yeah, when he was coming out like, oh my god, this could have been Krypton. I'm coming after you. You could have just caught his ass like, no, this is not Krypton at all. I'm sorry. I'm actually here trying to save these people, and you could be a douche.
It could, yeah, of course.
So yeah, but I thought that was very awesome how they showed all those scenes from that movie from a different point of view. This is what Superman was trying to do.
We were in the same universe this whole time.
Yeah.
But also, great, so happy I remember this. Something that I would have thought would have been awesome is right after Man of Steel came out, somebody came up with a fan-made poster of Batman in the Batcave with all the screens around, and you are not alone. The message that Zod sends to the planet for the first time, and it's Batman standing there. That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome. If
You are not alone.
If they showed the scene of him watching that,
of Batman watching that in the bat suit, and having Alfred in the back, and like it's Bruce Wayne sitting there, you know, doop doop boop boop, and up on the screen, spoilers out the ass for the Suicide Squad. Just have Harley, Killer Croc, have all of them up there, and he's looking at all of them. Alfred's bringing them tea, like, oh, what a great day, and you are not alone, and Alfred drops it. That would have been awesome, and tied in the fact that the Suicide Squad, that those characters are real, and they're in that universe too. Oh, somebody should have made that decision. Why am I sitting here thinking of this?
Are they supposed to be?
Yeah, of course. They're starting in Batman's in that. Ben Affleck's in that movie.
Okay. All right, so is... Okay, I guess that's cool.
So potentially Margaret Robbie could jump on Henry Cavill. Hiya, Soups!
Yeah.
Oh, that was bad. I promise not to do that again.
Soups.
Put in, should I blow him up?
Yeah, we're bad at doing Harley Quinn.
Who isn't? That's hard. She's hard. Margaret Robbie's not bad at it. She's, gosh, tangent again, but my goodness, that movie's going to blow the socks off of people.
But I'm just like, okay, well, is that the Joker that you're going to go with, though? To go up against Ben Affleck?
Dude, he's big. Jared Leto's not a small dude. Have you seen Fight Club? I mean, not the part where Brad Pitt nearly beats him to death, but...
But I mean, like...
He's not small, dude. He's kind of yoked.
Not in a fight, but to stand opposite of Batman.
Oh, definitely. With this Batman blowing people up and blowing people away, I mean, yeah. I mean, he's past the point where it's you're me at a bad day. Joker once could look at Batman and say that, but no, what the fuck makes you different?
Yeah, okay.
I think yeah, I am a criminal. I'm a gangster. I mean, I think that they really kind of tried to take those first three elements of Cesar Romano, Jack Nicholson, and Heath Ledger and try to blend them. So the tattoos and the kind of grunge kind of comes from Ledger, the gangster from Nicholson, and then just the funny guy, like the crazy hoo-hoo-hoo-hee from Romano, and tried to mush them together. So I think that it will play good. Like that scene where he's like, oh, I can't wait to show you my toys. Like, he's like, oh, I don't want to see those. Like, I want to see those toys, but I wouldn't want to be that guy. I wouldn't want to see those toys. No, thank you, sir.
Yeah, actually...
Oh, my God, you scare the hell out of me. Where, like, Ledger would scare me, too, but, like, in a whole different way, I feel.
Ledger made perfect sense for the Dark Knight universe.
Oh, yes.
He was perfect in that. I like throw him in a different setting. Like I was like, okay, well, what could he do well in? Would he be a good Joker against Ben Affleck's Batman?
Ledger?
Yeah.
Honestly, just because it was so good that I think he could really stand up against any Batman. I think that he captured a whole essence of the Joker that could go up against him. And I also believe that Mark Hamill did that, but Mark Hamill would have to be at his very worst dark jokes that they were allowed to get away with.
The whole thing, I think
Batman the Animated Series
Mark
to stand
Hamill
up.
was just Joker for too long.
How dare you? Are you serious?
I dare.
Oh my God!
It's hard.
Are we gonna break down after the first episode because you're saying shit about Mark Hamill being the Joker?
I love that he was a Joker.
Are you upset that he's Luke Skywalker too?
Oh, sorry, Nick.
I've never heard that before. My God, no, good. I'm glad to hear the opinion, man.
Okay,
that's what we're about.
I love Mark Hamill as Joker, but he's set too much as being the Joker. He's actually been the Joker when they changed the Joker around. And they made different, he did the voice of Joker from the beginning of the animated series, back when it was all Batman Noir, and then they brought in the new sort of art style, and Joker had black hair with like one green stripe going up the middle.
And the black
pupil eyes.
Oh, dude, they're like great white shark eyes. That's what was so good about them. God, they were scary.
And that's the Joker that they used to do a lot of these scenes that, they used that Joker in The Return of the Joker for Batman Beyond, where the Joker fucking dies. They shoot him in it, like Robin shoots him in the chest or something. I was like, okay, you can use that Joker to show something that serious. And he was like, he's supposed to be a funny Joker who like kills people off screen, if he even does kill people, which is off screen. You don't really see him being hardcore. You don't see the under the red hood Joker just beating Robin with a crowbar. Like, yeah, I'm done with the jokes. This is what I'm gonna do right now. Like, front and backhand.
I want to just
front
drop
and
a
backhand.
deep cut, man. John DiMaggio doing that voice. He does it really well because, I mean, I think that he heard Mark Hamill and he had that in his head, but it was on the back burner. It was an idea, but it wasn't what was driving the way he did it. So he kind of, I mean, really just, in my opinion, took what he did and just put it on a different level. And love John DiMaggio.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's in The Return of the Joker, where he's in a new universe, and it's still Mark Hamill doing his voice. Yes, I get Mark Hamill's voice is iconic for being the Joker, and if you're gonna do like an animated thing, like a lot of there are times where I've watched any sort of animated Batman thing, like let it be a movie, and Joker's in it, and he's not, and Mark Hamill's not doing the voice, and I'm just like upset about it. But then also at the same time, it's like, well, how does this guy do it? It might be great. Like when John DiMaggio did it, I was like,
correct. It is kind of that weird balance where, of course, you want to give it to Mark Hamill, but then at the same time, when somebody else gets the chance to step up to it, they can also do it well. And I don't want to put someone down. All right, the guy who does the Batman, I think, is trying to do a Mark Hamill impression.
Yeah.
And I love him as a voice actor. He is in everything. I mean, everything. If you look up his camera or his credit roll on IMDb, I think he almost is up to 500 credits because of the voices that he's put in everything. Awesome, cool guy, and I can hear him now but I think it does sound just as if he is.
I guess the whole point I was trying to get was that Mark Hamill as the Joker has been around for so long through some of the transitions that they had of him as a character that you're not supposed to try to do somebody else's Joker.
Correct.
You're supposed to do your own Joker.
And what's it look like through your lens.
Exactly. And that's what I think what makes a Joker special. It's like, hey, Jack Nicholson, he was a good Joker. He was a great Joker. I enjoyed watching him do his jokey stuff. Heath Ledger comes in there and it's completely different. I'm just like, this is good. He's being different. He's not like a crime boss. He's just an agent of chaos. He's doing things to fuck up the world. And there are things that crime bosses would do that he's doing, but he's not doing them to be a crime boss. He's doing them he's doing them because he knows he can.
It's an effective way to gain and control power.
Yes, he knows he can do it,
correct.
So he does it.
Yes. Not for gain, but just because it's a game that's already established that he can just dominate because his end game is different than what the game actually suggests, in a sense, if you will.
Yeah. I guess I can't say too much about Jared Leto's Joker because the movie hasn't even come out yet, and I haven't seen too much of it. So
I'm happy that we haven't seen too much of it.
Yeah, so let's just cut it at that. There was too many trailers for
Man of Steel. Oh no, sorry.
Batman, Superman.
Thank you. Let's a little less trailers, maybe. Let's stop it with the Bohemian Rhapsody and just be like, okay. What do you think about the reshoots, though, for it?
The reshoots? What do you mean?
They're reshoots for Suicide Squad. They're doing a few.
Some
people are like, they want it to be funny. They want it to be like Deadpool. They went back to make it funny. And the studio's like, no, guys, relax. We're just trying to make the movie better. It's what we do.
Go with your original plan.
No, of course.
And then just make tweaks. Just
I don't think they're gonna make it funnier just to make it funnier.
If you see something that wasn't working out, then yeah, go forth and change it. That's how editing works. So what point were we making before we got on this Joker tangent?
We jumped onto such a huge tangent with the Joker. But how can you not? He's just so crazy.
I think it was
that what it's like to be in the Joker's brain. Just how'd I get here? What? Oh, boom. I just blow something up.
Yeah, you saying like clips of like okay, like where you see like linking. Wow,
We were really off because we were trying to say that they should have opened the movie with him with the Suicide Squad on the television with "You Are Not Alone." That's how we got there. We are still at the opening of this movie.
I mean, that would have been a nice clip, but I don't think it would have been necessary.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't. The thing is, like, they're working with so much that they probably should just stay with what they have. You can't, like, don't bring in the Suicide Squad if you're trying to bring in Aquaman, The Flash, and Wonder Woman.
Ooh, we didn't get to that yet. Let's move on. I think that we spent a pretty good amount of time just kind of going through. I would even say we don't even have to hit some of this other stuff. Let's go right to Batman. I guess we can continue on. I mean, we said a lot about Batman's villains, didn't say a lot about Batman himself in this, in the fact that...
Okay, so I think... We'll go on.
I hope that he was a Batman that was out of practice, because the Batman that I saw doesn't look like a Batman that I like.
Yes, I thought he was...
A Batman. I liked him. Like, it's not that I didn't like him, it's just he didn't represent Batman the way that I want to see Batman represented. Not that I didn't like this way. It's just I don't want to see my Batman kill. I don't want to see my Batman use guns. I want to see my Batman much smarter and playing better, which I think he arrives to.
Out in the open.
But
out
that
in the
first
open,
fight, yeah, it's just
out in the open,
bloody. It would be bloody if they put blood in the movie.
Out in the open, like towards the end of the movie, where he's trying to save Martha Kent. For the audience, you clearly see him stab somebody with a knife, and that is that Batman in that universe, in that movie. That's the same one from start to finish. He stabbed somebody with a knife. That is completely out of Batman's character.
And the other big thing is the branding. Whereas
why is he branding?
Well, not only does he brand people, but it is said in prison, in that universe, that if you have the Batman brand, it's as good as a death sentence. Almost like in this universe, our universe, where if you go to jail and you're found out to be a pedophile or a wife beater or something like that, in the prison hierarchy, you just get a wallop come to it. It's just in their hierarchy. That's just how it is.
Some things you don't do as a criminal.
Correct. Yep, that's the perfect way. So in that universe, if you get that brand, you're dead. So in my opinion, that's just as bad as stabbing somebody.
So he's going
You're
around
judge and jury,
people,
but you're not executioner. You're leaving it to criminals to be worse. So you're actually kind of inviting criminals to be worse criminals. Maybe somebody who's in jail for not stabbing somebody needs protection, all of a sudden has to go and stab a guy with the Batman symbol on it to make sure that the 2 years he had for stealing a radio or whatever can put you away for jail, it's for 2 years, and has to stab somebody because they have the Batman thing on. You just created a worse criminal. That's bad. You can't be fucking doing that, Batman.
Also kind of makes him a hypocrite. As one of the people in this
world. Kind of. No, that makes him a fucking hypocrite, man.
Like, I've never been a proponent of calling somebody a hypocrite and then being like, you're a hypocrite. I don't have to listen to what you say. In my opinion, hypocrisy is this. If I say something that is good and right, but choose not to follow it, it doesn't change what I say from being good and right. It's still good and right. Unfortunately, Batman walks such a awkward line. Once he starts going against the things that he's trying to stand for, he loses like a lot of credibility. You can't well, now Batman's out there killing people?
Yeah.
What is this world coming to?
Exactly. What hope are you?
He's...
I know that's Superman's job. That's what the S is for. He's supposed to be the hope. But, I mean, Batman still has to stand for...
something. He is a human being out there trying to do right, not being, corrupted.
Do you know what I just thought of?
What?
Is Batman saying, I'm not the bad guy. But then that reminded me of Ben Affleck as Daredevil in the building, and it's raining, and the kid's all huddled up, and he's scared, and he goes, I'm not the bad guy, kid. I literally heard him say that. I was like, wow, I imagined that very easily. And then, no, I did not imagine that at all. Ben Affleck did say that, just under a different fucking cowl.
The bad guy.
That's not that. I'm not that imaginative. I have heard him say that before. I'm not the bad guy, kid. And that's how I feel, too. I mean, they do it really awesome in The New Frontier, where Batman's all dark and moody and he's saving a kid and the kid's ah, and John Jones, who is actually being John Jones, like the Martian Manhunter, Secret Identity, is like, get away from the boy, you're scaring him. And it's true. And then later on, you see him dressed up as more of an Adam West Batman. His bat symbol, like we were talking about earlier, goes to the little circle one. Mm-hmm. His eyes go from the bottom and all around it, and he's got the weird little things. His ears get shorter. It doesn't go all black. He goes to a blue, dark blue monochrome. Mm-hmm. And of course, here's Robin, the Boy Wonder, to lighten everything up, to prove that I'm not the bad guy.
Yeah.
So he was kind of the bad guy. You can't go killing people or sending them to jail to be killed for you.
The whole thing is, like, Batman is not trying to be the bad guy. He is not the bad guy. But he has to look like the bad guy to somebody. Like, some people have to be afraid of him.
That's true. And, like, if we watch Batman, or The Dark Knight, excuse me, where he has that scene with Maroni or Falcone, whatever one he is, and I'm not going to rat you on. We're on to your game. Nobody's going to cross the Joker to get to you, because you have rules. Mm-hmm. So Batman was kind of showing that, nope, I don't have rules. I'm a Batman in this universe that, nope, I do not have rules. But then, that's not Batman. Then you're the Red Hood.
Yeah, that's
you're getting the job done no matter what. I'm just going to go in there, guns ablaze, and not really think it out.
That's a cool Batman. He was cool.
Yes, okay.
Unfortunately, that's, like, there needs to be a reason why he's being that way, because Batman as a character is the guy with the rules. He's the bad guy for the bad guys, but he needs to have those rules. He's just a human being. He's not this alien coming from outer space. He doesn't need to stand in the sun all day and not worry about who's pointing a gun at him. No, he has to hide. He has to be in the shadows, and when he comes up there, people have to be afraid that he's there. But the thing is,
or just the very thought of maybe he's there,
still has to be the good guy.
Yeah.
Like the people who he's trying to protect. I was like, oh shit, Batman! Batman's here. Mm-hmm. Shit's getting done. These guys aren't gonna, because Batman's here.
Yeah. I'm safe.
You hear Batman, you think, oh, Batman's here? I'm gonna get to see something awesome.
Yeah. Not I should have to run and get out of here because stuff might explode.
Like, the thing is, I just keep saying, like, I'm safe. It's not even about being safe. It's like, you know you're safe. Now you're looking for a spectacle. When Superman comes around, it's like, oh, I've just been saved. Like in the scene in the movie where people are just, like, in that flood and stuff, and then, like, they're on top of the house, and they just look up there, and there he is, floating there as a god. Like, yes, he is saving people. Mm-hmm. That's what Batman does, but at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I'm gonna see something. This is gonna. Oh, Batman's here. Something's good. Batman's here. I get to tell my friends that I saw
Batman. I mean, that was the thing with that commercial too, with the airline. And maybe you'll get to see a local celebrity in the bat signal sign. And I would move to Gotham City just to go, Batman. Hey Batman, where are you? And just like go out and I like set my like
Batman.
And just set up with my friends. Like, hey, come beat me up. So Batman comes and like, hey, what are you doing? Just like waiting for you, man.
What are you doing?
Yeah, stop beating up that kid. And it's just like, nah, I'm not beating. This is my friend, man. Let's selfie. I would totally do that.
I'd probably do that scene in the Dark Knight where I'm dressing as Batman, just going around, just so one of these times he might actually show up like, oh yeah, I was being Batman, and then here he comes, Batman was there, and he's Batman, help me to be Batman! Yeah. Oh! Now I'm in jail.
Yeah. What did you think of Mr. Bruce Wayne meeting Clark Kent? That first party interaction that, again, was in the trailer.
Them interacting,
I think they both knew for a fact who each other were. Automatically. I don't think that he had to wait to hear the bug. Yeah.
He
has a satellite. We know he has a satellite. So if he has a satellite, he can easily track the flight pattern. It's
that's true.
I'm not smart and I didn't think about that. Literally, I've read it in so many different Batman versions that it's just what you do to find Superman. If there was a Superman, I could find him. Yeah,
Where's he?
You
flying
have to, like, yeah, he's
Who was
flying.
there?
Correct.
All that type of stuff. Yeah.
You would see the lines if you were looking at a grid going in and out of the Daily Planet like a motherfucker, and wherever the hell he pretends to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It would be so easy.
That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense.
So then, and because you also have to believe that Jesse Eisenberg knows that too, because there's no way that Zack Snyder and David S. Goyer think that we're stupid enough that a character like that would just go, "Oh, you do not want to pick a fight with that man." Like, we're not that stupid. We don't need that prod. I think that all three of them were standing there, and it was just the rumbling of what this movie ends up being.
Yeah.
The storm that literally is the end of this movie. I think it's just the three of them, just the static, just zzz, zzz, just bouncing off one another, just because all three of them know who each other are, what has to happen, or what does, like, that's why I think that scene is so powerful. That's why I thought it was. I liked that scene. I liked them. You know, the freaks dressed up like clowns and writing an editorial. And what do you think about this bad guy? Because again, yeah, I'm going to go back to it. Like, oh, I love bringing people together. It's just, that's why I think people are hating it. I'm like, don't you see, though, that he's kind of scripting it. He's kind of showing off. That he brought these two together.
His control underway.
Correct.
It all happened.
He's making it seem that these are his chess pawns. Correct. I think that for Lex Luthor, it was a moving of the chess pieces. And in his opinion, it was, ooh, look, I got these two looking at each other and they don't even know. Because he's that fucking arrogant. Whereas, of course, Batman knows. And even if Superman, because he's only a journalist, he's not a super genius like Lex Luthor. He is not even a greatest world detective. I mean, he's not a dumb guy. But even if he wasn't all the way there, wasn't sold on the fact, Bruce Wayne has Alfred in his ear, and he hears it. And it's like, okay, nope, that's Batman. I was 96% sure, but that puts me over the line.
Well, Superman is supposed to be super smart.
Is he supposed to be like, all right, I was giving it to him, but even if there was a shadow of a doubt, that's taken care of.
Look at it this way. As far as, like, Batman and Lex Luthor go, they're that obsessive enough to track someone's flight pattern.
Correct.
To find out where they're coming from.
Oh, yes.
Find out who he is.
Oh, yes.
Finding out who Batman is, that might be a different thing altogether. But it's all about how, like in A Dark Knight, where like he's driving out on the street with one of the things that his company makes. All you need to do is to see something that you might recognize that Wayne Industries makes, or something that would give away how he has all this technology, or how he can do all of this. It's like, where's he getting this from? Let's research some of these places that deal with big new technologies and stuff. And Wayne Industries, I'm not sure. Was it like that? Was it like that in the movies? Because they didn't really get too much into what Wayne Industries did.
Everything. In this movie, though, I mean, there is the awesome line of Alfred and I always just want to say Ben. Maybe that's kind of a good thing. Maybe I'm just so comfortable with Ben Affleck as Batman that I don't even want to say Bruce or Batman. I'm just like Ben's standing there because Ben is Batman. But Bruce and Alfred are standing there, and it's like, did you hear what he says? Something about the lineage of the Waynes. And Alfred...
them being hunters and stuff?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, well, Alfred says something about the railroads, and Bruce corrects him and says, no, they got into it by trading furs and pelts. The first Waynes were hunters.
That's why they branched out into so many different areas. They just to make their hunts easier and better. And
well, that's how they started. They got good at that, and then they got into railroads and oil, construction, blah 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 blah.
You grow with
that's why Wayne
Industries.
Off. Yeah, I mean Wayne Industries, it's Stark Industries. It is. Oh, we do that. We do that too. Like baby bottles to guns. We probably make it. There's probably a Wayne on there somewhere.
In any case, we
were just going with the meeting, and this, of course, is our first real look at Gal Gadot catching Bruce Wayne. Oh, the other thing I love about this scene, and to me so funny is when Mercy catches Ben. See, I do it all the time. Gosh, Mercy catches Batman, Bruce, and Bruce is like, I was looking for the bathroom. You know, that last martini was too much, and she's like, it's upstairs. And okay, hey, I like those shoes. You, come on. I mean, I love it. That's so cool. Hey, I like those shoes. I wouldn't take a guy like that seriously.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how big he is, just asshole.
Big, like, drunk buffoon.
Yeah, it's good, and it's the only time where I see Ben, now actually having to be called Ben, come out in Bruce.
Yeah. I got like too busy being Bruce Wayne as Batman to actually be.
If you have to be interrupted by a text message, it better be a T-Rex roaring at you. There is no other acceptable way to get a text message unless it's a T-Rex roaring at you.
That was my phone, you guys. I am a huge fan of Jurassic Park to where I live my life by that shit. Every day I'm looking over my shoulder for like a velociraptor. And the day that I see one, I'm going to be like, fucking sweet. Take me, I'm yours.
Clever girl.
That would be an easy one to do, clever girl, but I didn't do it.
It would be pretty obvious. Fuck you, I go for the easy kill, because I am a clever girl.
Alright, that wraps it up for the first episodes of Gluttons of Geekdom.
Obviously, we didn't get to finish. We're going to do that in just a little bit. Play this as a two-parter. I think it's a strong way to come out of the gate. That'll be great. Is that just fine?
There could be a big chance that a lot of these are going to be two-parters.
I think that they all are going to be, because I want to keep them semi-short, but...
We just keep talking.
Yes, it's
flows are
awesome.
good. The flows are
It is
good.
so good.
So yes, first episodes of Gluttons of Geekdom. It's out there.
Awesome.